Minerva, and I'm here with another episode of Tuesday Talks with Asavri with us today. Asavri is an interdisciplinary artist, writer, and a performer from Goa. Hi, Asavri, how are you?
Hi, Minerva. Thank you for having me. I'm really good. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
We are so excited to have you. So, I've been in touch with Asavri since 5, 6 years now. She has been my senior in the college, and we have done theater together. And it has been amazing seeing her journey through years. So, Asavri, what drew you, to this journey of visual art? Like, what was that moment or um, that influenced you to pursue, visual arts as a career?
Actually, I always loved the arts. I always loved expressing myself. And yeah, drawing competitions and all helped. But I suppose one day I drew a gigantic joker on the wall of my room with like a few oil pastels, and my mother realized that she is passionate and she's serious about this. So yeah, and the joker was very scary, so I was afraid whether I will be kicked out of the house now or like what will happen. But no, she really encouraged me, and she took it seriously, and I started entering a lot of workshops, um going to galleries, and actually gallery became the sacred space. So yeah, I got interested into the arts, and I also thought of, I did not know there was such thing called fine arts. So that was very scary, that I did not know that fine arts existed and this whole world existed. But when I came to know, there was no turning back.
So, just as we discussed before we started the recording, that you recently did this residency program and you worked with wood carving. So, what are you creating, right now? What's happening at the studio in your practice? What's consuming your thoughts?
Oh. Right now, I am actually exploring of like driftwood pieces. Sometimes during rainy season, there's like a lot of it. So I have one piece which I had like since a while, and I'm thinking of how I can create something ephemeral with it. I can also carve and take it back without treating it. So I'm looking at possibilities in that. And right now I am painting. I'm also a poet. So I have been writing poetry simultaneously, and my work has all the poetic elements. So I'm at the moment I'm actually compiling them, putting them together, and hopefully there'll be a book.
So, you did your bachelor's in painting and then master's in printmaking. So, how was that transition? How was that shift for you? Because personally for me, when I had done printmaking as my elective subject, my ideas and my thought process changed with the medium. And I say when I'm in painting, I have a different kind of ideation process going on. When I'm in the printmaking, option, my practice kind of changes. So how was that shift for you?
It was not much of a shift actually. I always loved printmaking. In fact, I did it even before I joined the art college. I got the opportunity to do it. Yes, there was a bit of realization on that trial and errors would be a part of the process, and then that would shift your work. But I did have a few concerns regarding a story or some form of, fantasy kind of world which is coming together. So I think that got um it was kind of pushed, and yeah, it kind of came together actually. And my printmaking practice is very painterly, so I do monotypes. I kind of play around with textures and surfaces, and the sometimes paintings and prints come together. So I it's not a very typical practice perhaps, or I don't know whether, yeah, but I'm not getting into that. I'm only thinking about the image, and image is
Hmm.
important, whether it's painting or printmaking. Printmaking does give you a quality, a certain kind
Hmm.
of assertiveness, a certain kind of, reputation, which I enjoyed. It's like poetry for me. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think every process has its own pluses, and you just
Right.
have on to that and you read somewhere. Yeah.
And how do you connect with different mediums? And which medium do you find the most difficult, and which medium you keep going back to certain mediums, you experiment with new mediums, but then there is one comfort medium you keep going back whenever there is, this like,
Yeah,
hey, it
yeah.
was watercolor, watercolor is like my comfort. So how's that? Which medium it's like, do
It's
you?
very basic. It's mostly drawing. It's mostly drawing, and it's yeah, it's just that. And it's my sketchbook, my words. They are also images for me. Words, drawing, it's the most easiest. I just can say it, in with the text and image. That's it. So it's either drawing, and it's either painting sometimes, like, gouache, weirdly,
Mm,
because it has sort of butteriness to it.
yeah.
Um but I feel like everything has its own ease, and sometimes like sculptural works, they kind of push me out of the comfort zone, and I like that. I enjoy that push, and that the image is kind of going forward. Easy and not easy. I'm more of a seasonal artist. Depends on the season. So in Goa, oil painting is a little difficult due to the moisture and humidity, and there's a lot of fungus. But so winters or summers, I wait for that. And yeah, it depends actually. It depends.
Hmm.
Media
So,
is like it's a very flowful thing, like whatever speaks to you at the moment. So right now, I I can always return to painting for sure with gouache, and I can always draw. Like it's very essential. It's a very philosophical act for me. I observe, I see, and I just draw. I write whatever words just come out. So I just do
hmm.
that, and it's all intertwining for me.
Last time we met, I think you had your show at Arc in Baroda. At
Yeah,
that time also I had talked to you, and I remember you had your monotype prints at that
yeah,
point, and etching prints displayed there, and it was mostly I think your reinterpretation of folk tales, as far as I
yeah.
remember. So
Yes.
apart from your writing, what inspires you in your visual visual art journey?
Apart from my writing, as I told you, are from observations and what I see around. Um, Apart from that, I think news, watching news, news is bizarre, and it's like everything is there's comedy, there's tragedy everywhere. They are both together. Like
Hmm.
sometimes the most comical things are tragic in the world, vice versa. And theater, I love watching theater. We were part of theater,
Yeah.
so I I like theater of the absurd, and I like reading that I respond to literature a lot, as you said,
Hmm.
focus. And at the same time, at the moment right now, I also wanted to go visit the site and work with something more site specific, like the Khazan lands in Goa, like
Hmm.
mangroves and salt pans, and looking into the ecological aspect of it also, like what is happening on the ground level, going to
Hmm.
the site, visiting the site, looking at what kind of objects are there, or
Hmm.
maybe by climbing the mountain. I went for a trek. Then what is happening over there, or like what kind of um, rocks are there. So these are the observation, these are the notes which I do wherever. So I think somehow landscape is a new thing which I'm trying to go into, explore. I mean, nature, I would say, is very fluidly coming in. Not
Yeah.
because it's a trend or anything, it's just a bit of
And since you said that lately you've started reconnecting with nature, and nature has been your recent muse in your art, has your relationship with art changed? Or, when you started, and recently, when you said you did this residency, and how has it changed over the years? If you can take us through it.
I have been, I don't like to say figurative, but yes, I have used a lot of figuration in my works over the years. And right now, I'm going towards a certain form of abstraction which I'm enjoying, and landscapes and space has become important. And of course, I mean, nature and looking into that is kind of giving me another perspective, a more larger than life perspective, because um I'm not trying to say that figuration doesn't do that or landscape does it. It's just that my concerns are getting broader, and I am really respectful of that. Going to the residency or going to the trek, I think these things help you open you up rather than being contained. So there are few moments which I love to contemplate with human relations or human complexities, but at the same time, what is happening around the world, or what is um a part of your daily life, or let's say immediate realities in nature, they kind of hit you. So I'm just responding to that.
Great. And you said that when you explored this new type of stones and you started taking notes, and then you write your poems, everything. So, can you take us through your creative process, what it looks like, and are there any rituals which are involved in that process?
Oh
Of
my God, there are rituals. Cleaning is a big ritual because
late, intermediate.
yeah, because I have a lot of stuff which I hoard and keep, especially during the pandemic where I was not sure whether I will go to a stationery. I just first thing I went to the stationery. I hoarded a lot of materials, kept them. Now I think I have 3 years stock, which I'm thankful for. Even if I'm going to be poor, I have material to work with. So that is one thing. Yeah, the question was rituals. Cleaning, and when I'm cleaning, I also figure out what I want to do because I have those materials. I'm again looking at them. I don't know if I said, but I've been working with masks and also performance art. Actually, all these mediums, different mediums, they're very connected and intertwined together. um Poetry, image making, painting, then performance art. They are all, performance art is basically me taking those images and animating them into the real time.
Yeah.
So carrying a stone, or me kind of engaging in certain activity. And then there is this new thing which I'm interested in, is becoming myself a watchman, because I have been always intrigued with me as a woman looking at the watchman at night, who's guarding and safekeeping and also is a person of authority. So when I become the watchman, I transform into a security personnel, and someone who has a power dynamic and also is a flaneur in the landscape, and kind of looking at the world around, observing, writing poetry. So these are the kind of image. So fact and fiction is coming together over here. So observations are being actualized over here. So yeah, I think that rituals of going for a walk, then watching theater, watching films, reading, and cleaning. And when you clean, you recognize the materials and mediums around your studio.
Yeah.
You walk around your studio. Even walking is work for me. Even even thinking about art or looking at art is work for me. So it starts then, and then yeah, the need for creation just it just arises.
This was so relatable, Asavri. I thought that I am the only one who needs to clean the studio or the space before you start to work, because I have this same ritual. I just like this person. I'm just cleaning my studio and I'm just finding things I've never seen. It was in my studio, different kind of papers coming out of drawers.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
random drawing book I just came across from I don't know when, and it's just fun. So, what
Yeah,
is
yeah.
one piece of advice you'd offer to young artists that are just starting out in the visual art space?
Be kinder to yourself and take your time to understand the art world. It is complex, but hang in there. Like, it's okay. You just focus on your work, be honest, and just keep working. Just keep working. And be true to whatever you believe in. That's all. I don't know what else. I think you figure out over the time what to do and what not to do. But be kind to yourself first.
That's a great advice. I feel as an artist or as an art students also, we are the biggest critique of ourselves, of our work. I mean, nobody will be that harsh to you as you are to yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a great advice. What keeps you busy when you're not creating or when you're not in the studio? What and you're not performing and you're not writing? What else are you doing otherwise?
I don't know. I'm cooking. I'm just hanging out with good people, or in Goa it's great because you get to move here and there and go through nature walks or chill with family or relax. And yeah, I think if I'm not doing art or in my studio, I'm watching a film for sure. I know it's connected to art, but I love spending my time watching film with
Yeah.
friends or family. And yeah, baking something or just yeah, hanging around. I also love um kind of we have these get-togethers, or we read out our poems and things like that, or literature readings, or if there's a play happening. So I like to be in Goa, at least like I try like to be active in the art scene, or the cultural space and what other people are doing, or there are festivals, which happen every year celebrating nature. So
Yeah.
that those things are very interesting to me, and yeah, there are so many things. There's so much to life. So
Larger than life, you just mentioned it a while back. I think that's this one line I'm picking up from today's talk. Whose work do you usually, which artist's work usually inspire you? Whether is it a master or a peer or somebody, totally out of the art world.
I think of Nilima Sheikh somehow because her landscapes, her paintings, her people, it's just so, it's a universe I would love to walk into. And it's a very safe space, which I feel is a safe space or a place of contemplation. So first Nilima Sheikh comes to my mind, and then there are many other artists. There is Dena Schutz. There is this Indonesian artist called Melati Suryodharmo. There is Soza Joseph. There is Nalini Malani. Then Marina Abramovich also, I won't deny that. And Philip Buston, I love the
Very
painting.
nice.
And yeah, there are actually quite a lot. Um, which I love. But these are the top people in my head which come by. And also Pushpamala. I love
Mm.
her voices. I think they are fun. They are very fun, quirky. They are alive. And yeah, a lot of people are doing great work right now. So yeah.
Yeah, great. It was so much. It was such an insightful, candid conversation. I mean, and it is always lovely talking to you as I mean, it's always been every time I meet you, whether virtually or in person, it's always such a warm. Talking to you just feels like this warm hug. It's just cute.
Thank you. I'm really touched.
Anyway, thank you so much for your August presence at our YouTube channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was great talking to you.